Welcome back to D16 tonight. If you're just joining us online or on KUAM Digital, we've got with us in studio Mary Torres, Chris Duenas, and Jose San Agustin. And if you got a question, feel free to post it on our Facebook live stream. We'll get back to the questions. We have one from Ophelia Frank Bayless. She asks, what has more emphasis for you? Scholarships for students to graduate and return to Guam, or incentives for attracting off-island medical teachers and professionals? We'll start with Mary.
I think that it's important to have scholarships and invest in our local talent. I think that if you were to train people, give them opportunities to advance in their professional careers, the benefit to the community overall is best. And so I would support scholarships over incentivizing people who would have a very transient exposure to Guam, and their contributions would only be within the limited time that they're here. I would invest in the long term and the local, as opposed to the short term and the off-island.
Okay, and Hosea, do you support scholarships for students to graduate and return to Guam, or incentives for attracting off-island medical teachers and professionals?
I think I like to look at balancing the two, but it's very important to really have it here and maintain it here on our island. There's almost no reason why we have to go off-island to recruit nurses. For example, when we have the University of Guam that can actually deal with that type of profession, I think we should look at it seriously and start building off the infrastructure that's there, so that the professionals or the professions of nursing and others, medical, can be kept here on island.
And Chris?
You know, Ophelia, thank you for the question. Actually, I introduced legislation in the 31st Guam Legislature, and there are already scholarship opportunities, and I would like to fully fund those scholarship opportunities. I believe the University of Guam is taking advantage of some of them now. It was actually to create local businesses where they would get the tax breaks by funding some of these. Really right now, I think between the nurses situation as well as our H-2B visa situation, there is a scholarship that we created for the Trades Academy. And I think we should fully fund that now, so we can definitely train up our workforce quickly with regard to the need for construction trades and other trades related to creating opportunities for our people.
Okay, we have a question from Teddy Tran. He was asking about the governor's recent actions regarding commutation and deportation. Do you support it? We'll start with Jose.
I support that. Of course, as a director at the DOC, I've seen the many problems that many of our federated state of Micronesia clients had done here on our island, criminal-wise. I could tell you that I've shared the same concern with many of the citizens out there, and I asked them their thought of the deportation, and they support it. But coming from me, you know, I take this as a lesson learned for the community, that this is a good thing, that there's a law, and the law works. And the reason for the law is to protect the larger community from any ongoing activities.
And Chris?
You know, first of all, Ken, I think this has to be said because I don't hear this a lot. There are a lot of folks from the FSM on Guam that are doing a great job, working hard and trying to take care of their families and have a better life for their people. You know, the most important thing here is twofold. It's about safety and security for all the people of Guam, not just the Chamorros, not just those others that have immigrated to Guam, and not just, but for even those folks from FSM themselves to understand that this is about public safety. The other issue is, because I worked with the governor on this, one of the reasons for this issue as well is to raise the issue with the federal government, to show them that they've got to do their part. And I think that this has accomplished both, and I support exactly what the governor's doing.
And Mary, do you support the governor's recent action regarding commutation?
I don't support the method by which he went through with it. I think that he should have first worked with the federal government on those sorts of crimes that are deportable crimes and have it done that way, because we don't control immigration. And although you can send them away, there's no guarantee that they couldn't return, or there's no way that you can stop them from returning as a government. I also am concerned, though, that we're not addressing the issue with time served and a debt served to the community for these crimes. So when you commute them, you essentially wipe away their slate and send them on their merry way. In instances where people are perhaps dangerous to a community, you then have allowed them to return to a community that they could potentially harm. And I have some concerns about that as well.
And from speaking about removing people to bringing people in, I know there's been issues regarding the HB2 visa and and there's the challenges that Guam faces with the federal government. What you plan to do to address that? I'll start with you, Chris.
Sure, we've already been addressing it. The governor has talked to folks in Congress. He has talked to all the way, written letters all the way up to the President of the United States, as well as Department of Interior, Department of Defense. There's been years and years now of discussions with the federal government on a number of issues, but particularly on this issue now for the last several months. It's unconscionable that a policy decision can be made so far away that affects our economy, our ability to do what we need to do to continue to build investment on our island. It's kind of unconscionable too, and kind of a mystery on how the military buildup is coming to Guam, and we need to do all this buildup, yet this situation's happening. And I think it's wrong, and I think we need to go and talk to the federal government and ensure that we solve this problem.
And Mary?
We have to press the issue. I mean, I personally am feeling the effects of it already, where a contractor that I had lined up had to pull back because they had to send away workers. So short term, we have to do something. We have to work closer with Washington. I know that in the long term, we can work with our Trades Academy to build up the base, which is what we should do ultimately. We should build up our skilled labor base and our professional base. But in the short term, we have to press the issue because Guam is going to be adversely affected. And with the military buildup, or just with general buildup, we have a hotel now that wants to come online, as applied to Gita. That's a real issue for our island right now.
And Jose?
This has been a long time issue ever since I was probably very young. And, again, it's surfacing. We got Trades Academy, we got GCC that trains folks on these trades. So I would like to see the initiative move forward to be able to train folks here on island to be able to do build-ups instead of having to bring people in. And what's important about that is that the money stays here on the island and it doesn't go out. But it's just it's just beyond me that we have to go off island to recruit professionals when we have the ability here to build off the foundation and improve on it and not rely on outside employment.
Okay, and then another question from John Larissa Camacho. She asked, what do you think about holding parents accountable for minors' children's bad behavior in regards to bullying? I know we had a heartbreaking story last week regarding about that. If elected, what do you plan to do about bullying to our island's kids? I'll start with Mary.
I think we need to rely on the professionals who are trained to deal with families and with crimes and with extenuating circumstances. It is hard to say that if this, then that, because there are so many factors that go into behavior, and so I would defer to professionals. I would not make it an automatic policy. I don't think that that's wise.
And Jose?
I think a lot of it has to do with education, both in part of the parent and the child. The child being a child growing up, just starting to spread their wings and testing the waters. But really, a lot of it has to do with education, both on the parents and the child. I agree with Mary's comment, but at the same time, I'm still open to holding parents accountable for their kids.
And Chris?
Having been Director of Department of Youth Affairs for 6.5 years, I really understand the family dynamics and how sometimes situations become beyond control within the family unit. We have a proven success in our government. It's called systems of care. It works for young people who have severe emotional disturbances and things where families and the government and social workers come together to solve problems. There is a level of accountability that parents always have to have. But when you have a dysfunctioning family, you have to intervene. And I think programs that actually do that systems of care approach and addressing the problem is the more important thing than just straight away accountability from the parent, although that's important too.
Wow, the show went by really fast. I'm being told we need to wrap up, but we'll have each of you guys with your last comments. Yeah, we'll start with Jose.
Is it a comment or a question?
Last comments you have for the people of Guam.
Well, actually, I have 4 items on my agenda, and I hope that you'll consider my platform. One of them is really to engage with being the advocate for our veterans, our military veterans. Many of these folks, by thousands, have served honorably in the military, And being here on an isolated island, we tend to be forgotten. Very little resource, medical resources, and I know that these people deserve better medical care than what they are getting right now. The second part is the drug epidemic that's continued to be a problem here on Guam. So if you could consider, I'm number 12 Republican ticket. Thank you.
And Chris?
You know, to the people of Guam, I hope you've had an opportunity to glean some of our important priorities tonight for the people of Guam. You know, there's just so much to do, but I think that as a senator, you have to focus. You have to be determined to get something done that really affects our island. Right now, I just cannot accept anymore the amount of garbage and trash, and I think you can't either. That keeps piling up on our island. One of the first things we need to do is ensure that every household has a recycle bin as well as a rollout bin for no or low cost. This will take thousands and thousands of tons out of the current waste stream that we have all over in the boonies, that we're paying so much more money to pull it out of the boonies and throw away, and the manpower that goes into that. I will focus on this to clean up our island once and for all. Thank you very much. And I'm number 5 on the Republican side of the ballot.
And we'll close it out with Mary.
Thank you. Sidus Masi, everybody. I think when we look at candidates, we have to recall what it is that we're looking for. Are we looking for people that are going to take your concerns into consideration, that are really going to fight for you? I've proven in everything I've done in my professional career, in my personal career, that I've been one that's always been there to stand up for your rights and to stand up for those people that are not in the position to advocate for themselves. There are a lot of measures that I put in place that are very practical, and I think we need practical people that are going to worry about how we spend our money. I personally have spent the least amount of money as of any of the senators this term, and it starts with us being responsible, and I humbly ask for your vote because I want to be there to serve you. Sidus Maasi.
Thanks again, guys, for joining us, and best of luck to all of you guys in November. We'll be seeing you guys on the campaign trail. Y'all did awesome tonight.
Thanks,
and thank
Ken.
you all again for watching. Remember, your vote is your voice. Good night.
Closed captioning is brought to you by IT&E Life in Motion.